Hey, everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of Savvy Marketing for Small Business. I am your host, Samantha Shepard, and I'm so excited to be with you today because we're talking about one of those big topics that honestly, I see a lot of women in business struggle with. Okay. Today, we're talking about something that I don't think gets enough attention, and it's celebrating the small wins. As entrepreneurs, we're often focused on the next goal, the next client, the next launch, the next revenue milestone, the next 1,000 followers, whatever, fill in the blank, right? That next big thing. But while this goal is important, there is a hidden danger in this, and that's what I want to share with you today. There's a hidden danger when it comes constantly chasing what's next. Can you feel this? Like, does anybody relate to this? Sometimes we forget to acknowledge how far we've come. We move the finish line every single time we hit a goal, so we're constantly feel like we're chasing something. And over time, it's going to leave you frustrated, it's going to leave you discouraged, and it's going to feel like you're not really making progress even when you are. I know I've seen this in my business and in my husband's business over the years. So if you're not alone. So if you've ever felt like you're working really, really hard, but you're not really giving yourself credit for the progress that you've made, this episode is for you. So let's first talk about why small wins matter and how they can dramatically increase the confidence that you have in growing your business. You see, here's a myth that I really want to bust today. Okay. Confidence is not something that you magically wake up with in the morning. Nobody's born with confidence. Most people think, well, when I know enough, I'll be confident. When I have more clients, I'll be confident. When I grow my business to 6 figures, then I'll be confident. When my content starts getting engagement, then I'll be confident. Do you see what I mean here? But confidence does not come from outcomes. Confidence comes from evidence. I want to say that one more time. Confidence does not come from outcomes. Confidence comes from evidence. And every action you take becomes proof that you're capable, right? I mean, every single challenge that you overcome becomes evidence that you can figure it out. Every small win tells your brain, I can do this, I can do this. But the problem is most business owners ignore the evidence, right? Because they're so focused on that next milestone. And then that loop just keeps going on and on and on. So I want us to really think about this and in the rest of this episode today as to why the small wins matter and how we really have to do a mental shift to acknowledge them. So think about this. Think about a snowball. It's rolling down the hill. It starts out pretty tiny, kind of gets a little momentum, but every little bit of snow that collects on that little ball creates momentum. Your business is the exact same way. One post becomes consistency, one conversation becomes a client, one referral becomes a partnership, one email becomes a sale, one testimonial builds your credibility, right? Big results are usually the collection of small wins stacked on top of each other over time. Really. I mean, if you really think about it, that's really what it is. The challenge, though, is that most people, they only celebrate the big milestones. They don't think about the little ones that helped them get there in the first place. So meanwhile, they're overlooking all the little small things, all the little victories that helped them grow to that milestone that brought them the momentum that they needed. So I want us to normalize things like this, okay? Normalize showing up consistently every single week. Those of us that are busy moms that have kids and practices and dinners and everything else in between, showing up consistently is a big deal. Okay. Posting a reel, even though you were nervous, that's a big deal. Following up with a lead, sending the proposal from the meeting you had, raising your prices. I know that just made some of you really uncomfortable, but that is a big deal. Having a difficult client conversation, right? Recording your first podcast episode, sending your first email, launching your website. Guys, these are all little things that make a big impression, a big impact on your business. What if you received a compliment from a client? Number one, that's huge for building your confidence, right? But number two, it's going to grow your referral base. And number three, that's great for you to share on content. Let use that story, right? I think it's wonderful when someone gives a compliment and gives a testimonial. That's not to be taken lightly. Most people in today's world, all they want to do is complain. So when someone gives you positive feedback, hallelujah, right? Maybe you learned a new skill. Maybe you created a content calendar. And if you need help with creating a content calendar, let me know. I'm your girl. Maybe you just finally had a really good strategy session. Guys, all these things might seem small in the scope of things, but they matter. And every single one of them is the evidence that your business is moving forward. You can't have big wins without a lot of little wins building up to it. So I want us to talk about something that is going to be very, very practical, that sometimes we need reminders. I mean, I have notes and reminders on my phone all the time. I use my email sometimes as my to-do list. But one of the simplest confidence building exercises that you can literally start doing is keep a win journal. At the end of every day or at the end of every week, I want you to write down 3 things that went well, 3 actions that you actually completed from start to finish, and 3 little lessons that you learned. That's it. It's kind of like a gratitude journal, but it's tracking your progress as a confidence building journal. Your brain normally wants to focus on the problems, everything that went wrong this past week, right? But this exercise, this confidence journal, will train your brain to recognize progress. And over time, you're actually going to get a very, very powerful record of growth that you're going to see in black and white that you can revisit anytime doubt creeps in, anytime fear creeps in, anytime questioning creeps in. You'll have something right there to say, wow, look at all these things that I did. The next thing that you can actually do to help build this confidence in business through recognizing the small things is I really want you to measure results. I'm a big, big advocate for tracking your numbers. In my VIP program, we track our numbers every single month because it's the practical, no emotional roller coaster. It just is what it is, right? So I want you to track your revenue, your followers, your views, your sales, how many new clients you talk to or met with, right? Go to Excel. I know it's old school, but create a spreadsheet. You have to track that. But guys, these outcomes usually lag behind the actions. Okay. So instead of tracking activities, instead of tracking only the results, I want you to track the activities which you can control, which lead to the outcomes. So let me give you an example. Okay. How many posts did you put out last week? How many leads did you reach out to? This could be an email, a text, or a DM. Okay. How many follow-ups did you send? This is one I promise you, a lot of you listening to this don't do any follow-up with clients or leads or one-on-one coffee dates or those you meet at networking meetings. If you simply initiate this and do a weekly follow-up plan with people that you've met in your world, in your community, you're going to see massive results from that, right? How many networking conversations did you have? How many emails did you write and send? How many videos did you record? Okay. Because these wins are what move your business forward. It's so easy for us to say, oh, well, it's not a big deal. That didn't really matter. But it does. Every single big milestone that you have was built on the shoulders of 20 or more little things that built up to it. Okay. And unlike sales, you have direct control over that. You can meet with someone and it's up to them whether they work with you or not, right? Like there's only so much that we can do in that decision process, but you can control the actions leading up to it. And when you start tracking your numbers, you can see, okay, if I do X number of this, it produces this result. If I do X number of this, it produces this result. This is a huge deal when it comes to taking the emotional roller coaster out of being a business owner. And the third thing that I want you to really think about is I want you to start a proof folder. It's a digital folder. It can be on your computer, on your phone. But anytime something positive happens, I want you to save it. Testimonials, thank you messages, positive comments, screenshot, Google reviews, clients text you with a win that they had, compliments, success stories. Guys, we have to surround ourselves with that positive reinforcement because there will be days that you feel like you're failing. There will be days where everything goes wrong, everybody cancels, nobody calls you back. I've had many of these days, right? So when those days happen, you have to have a folder that you can lean on that says, wow, I'm really doing something. Okay. You quickly will realize how much of an impact you're having, which is most likely a lot bigger than you think. And the next thing I want you to do is I actually want you to publish it. I want you to share your successes. Okay. I don't want you to get a compliment from someone and then hide it in a folder somewhere, right? One mistake that I see, probably one of the biggest mistakes I see, is women in business hide their progress. Well, I don't want to be bragging. I don't want to come across as selfish. I want to make sure I stay humble. And I get it. It's not because you're not proud of your progress or successes. I get it. You don't want to be boastful, but here is the truth. Sharing your progress actually inspires people. Okay. Tell your audience, I'm just super excited to welcome this new client. Just finished my first workshop. Here's the best thing that happened. I just launched a new service. I hit a huge consistency goal, or I hit a little consistency goal, right? I finished creating my content for the month, and now I'm so pumped that I feel very intentional with how I'm going to serve my clients this month. Guys, these moments build your credibility and they actually encourage others. You never know who is reading your content, your emails, or seeing you at a networking meeting, and your progress is going to help them believe in themselves that they can do it too. So, yes, you do need to share what you're actually doing. Okay. The last thing I want to say here is stop comparing what's a quote I heard recently? Stop comparing your candle to somebody else's flame. Okay. You have to stop comparing your chapter 3 to somebody else's chapter 30. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy confidence. You don't know what someone else has been through or how long they've been doing it. I've had people look at my husband and I, we've been in business over 23 years. And I had someone say to me recently, "Oh, well, it must be nice. You're so lucky to have success." And I said, "Well, it's not luck. It's built on 23 years of hard work, focus, dedication, failures, lessons learned. There's a lot of things that people don't see. You have a similar story. I guarantee that people don't see the years of work and the dedication and the mistakes and the sacrifices that you have made, right? So instead of asking, why am I not where they are? I want you to ask, what progress have I made compared to where I was 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago? Guys, that's the only comparison that really matters, not against somebody else. Don't ever compare yourself against someone else, but look at your own progress, which is why a couple minutes ago I talked about tracking your numbers because that's one of the best ways to really track your progress. Okay. And I want you to celebrate yourself. Okay. Seriously, like have some kind of Friday celebration. Do you have something that you can do? Pour a glass of wine, go for a run, call a friend, whatever it might be. I want you to celebrate your week. Okay. It can be something as little as a coffee date. I'm a big fan of coffee dates. Absolutely love coffee dates, whether they're in person or virtual. It's just time for me to enjoy my favorite beverage with someone that I love spending time with. Okay. But I want you to celebrate your wins. One of the best things I will tell you is that I have a few very close friends of mine that we talk in Messenger all the time. We don't really live close to each other, but we talk in Messenger almost on the daily, and we celebrate each other's wins, and we encourage each other, and we motivate each other. Try to find a community of like-minded women or entrepreneurs that you can all build each other's confidence up together. Okay, so here's what I want you to remember as we wrap up today's episode. Confidence isn't something successful people are born with. Confidence is built, and it is built through action, consistency, experience, trial and error. And it's built by recognizing progress that you're making along the way. It's the small things that are the evidence that what leads to the big things. Okay. So entrepreneurs are not succeeding randomly. Okay. They're very intentional. They're the ones that keep going. They stay encouraged. They recognize their wins. They stay positive. Even if they fail miserably, right? Which I've been there multiple times, they pick themselves up and say, okay, how can I change moving forward? And what can I do next? So here's my challenge for you this week. I want you to take 5 minutes today and I want you to write down 10 wins that you've experienced in your business over the past year. Big, little, in between, micro, whatever. Okay. I promise you're going to see more accomplishments than you realize, and you probably have a lot that you forgot that you did. And when you're done, I want you to take a moment to really appreciate how far you've come. I guarantee you are a lot farther along than you realize because growth doesn't happen at once. It takes time. It's built on one conversation, one lesson, one small win that they grow like the snowball that really builds the momentum to where you are in business today. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this message encouraged you. Share it with another business owner that you feel needs a little bit of a confidence boost today and a reminder that their progress counts as well. And if you're looking for extra support, accountability, or a simple marketing system that helps you really attract people to your business and helps you with implementing action, not just listening to podcasts, but you really want to take what you're learning and actually implement it, definitely check out my upcoming Profit Marketing Masterclass. I'm going to put the link to everything below, but this is a masterclass where it's going to be really talking about what's called the simple four-step framework. Okay, this framework is one of those things where does not take rocket science, but it's simple and easy. Marketing made simple is what makes your results real, to be honest with you. So thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, keep showing up, keep taking action. Do not forget to celebrate the little wins because you are a rock star. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.